Okay, so for lesson 6.3, let's look at example 1. Remember, we're solving by completing the square because there's no way I can factor. There's nothing that will multiply to 2 that will end up subtracting to give me the 14. Therefore, I can't factor, and I have to find another way to solve this. I can't just try to do the square root thing because notice now we have an x squared and an x. So there's got to be another way. And we said that we would be able to use completing the square. So remember in the general note video there that we took and we had to get our x terms by itself. So first thing is, let's move that 2 over to the other side. And so we end up with x squared plus 14x equals a positive 2. Now remember we said we want to add something in right here that will make this left side of my equation a perfect square so that I can factor it. So I'm going to rewrite this and I'm going to leave a blank for what I'm going to put there. So it's just, oops, forgot my x, plus a blank equals 2. But remember, what you add to one side, you have to add to the other. So add that blank on the the right side as well. Then we had said the formula to be able to find what that number is going to be 1/2 times our b term, or that's the number, the coefficient that's in front of the x. So what's in front of the x? A positive 14. So 1/2 times 14 is 7. You take that number and square it, and that's the number that's going to go into your blank here. So both of them are going to get that 49. The left side here is now factorable. So you get x and x because they have to multiply to x squared. And what multiplies the 49 that will add to that 14 in the middle? Well, 7 and 7. Remember, we also had said in the previous video, it's going to be that b over 2, so it's right there. Whatever number that is the one we're going to plug in. So there's not a bigger number because they're going to be the same number because our goal is that perfect square. If they're different numbers, then we did not achieve that goal and we got to go back. All right, so we're going to bring down that first sign. Positive 7 times what gives me that positive 49 at the end? Well, another positive 7. They have to be alike, guys. If not, there's something wrong. Equals, and then this side here, just combine them. What's 2 plus 49? Good. All right, so we know that anything times itself means that it's squared. So this is x plus 7 squared equals 51. Now this problem here is what we've been doing in class. So how do we get x by itself? We're going to take the square root of both sides, and so you get x plus 7 equals plus or minus the square root of 51, because remember the square and the square root there will cancel each other out. Solve for x, so just subtract the 7, and you end up getting x equals negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 51. Now I forgot to ask, is 51 factorable? Yes, 51 is, so you need to check that. 51 is 3 times 17, but they are not factorable. They're both prime, therefore I can't break down that square root of 51. Now in class, when we did this before, I had you write it as x equals negative 7 plus the square root of 51, and x equals negative 7 minus the square root of 51. But you can put them together and write it as one equation as long as there is a square root or there is an I involved. If there is no square root or no I, then you have to write them out separate because you can actually solve it for a number answer. Hope this helps, guys.